I'm Carl. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are covering how to compare offers from different schools. So you're in a position, many recruits would envy you here. You have multiple committable offers from schools, maybe not all D3s, um, but could be different types. We're going to walk through how we helped a recent one-on-one client navigate this great problem to have, and we're going to show you the takeaways. So here we go. So the goal in all of this is to find your best fit, which is something that gets thrown around a lot. And at the end of the day, what you need to know is that there are going to be multiple schools where you can have a great experience for college. So don't necessarily feel like there's one right option and everything else is wrong. We're going to show you how you can really have a great experience at multiple schools, but maybe how to rank your priorities and think through by showing you what this recruit did with their situation. So let's start by school type right here. So amongst these three schools, the first one is a very small school. Okay, 2,000 students, focused, private. So you're going to have really small classes. That is definitely not for everyone, but it does provide a great learning environment. You're probably going to be more in the liberal arts side of things. So taking a lot of different types of subjects, not necessarily specializing early on, maybe picking your major by the end of your sophomore year. School number two, slide over here, much bigger, 20,000 students. This is a big research university. It is also private. Uh, Again, very different experience. You're going to have bigger sports. You're going to be one of many here, but that also means you're going to have access to a lot more resources. With it being a research institute, if that's something you're interested in, you have things that a small campus of 2,000 cannot provide. So, moving on to number three, we're somewhere in the middle here. Again, big research university. This is going to be public though, and it's a little further away from home than the other ones. So middle on size, um, but similar advantages that school number two had as well. So let's scroll down. We are going to go to recruiting. So for this recruit, they wanted to play a sport. That's why they were working with us. And of these three options, two are D3. So school number one was D3, and they had a roster spot offered on the team right here. That is great. Committable offer, not something that everyone has throughout their process. So, really tried to help the recruit understand that was something they could commit off of if they wanted to. At school number two, it was slightly different. They had not spoken to the coach yet, and they would have to walk onto the team because it was D1 with no interest later in their senior year. So not something that was, necessarily in their plans. But as we'll see with school number two, there's one factor that really swayed them into considering this and pulling it into the final three. School number three on the other side, also D3, and also had a roster spot offered. This one was actually one that came directly from one of our live Q&A sessions, which was fun. Coach was on there. The recruit dropped a question, liked the coach's response. They ended up talking. Offer happened later. So that was really exciting to see that go down behind the scenes. So here we go, just to summarize. School 1 and 3, D3, committable offers to play on the team at both. School 2 is D1, no coach contact, and they're going to have to walk on. So next up, we got location. So in this one, school number one, located in near a big city in the suburbs, so right outside. School number two, in the big city, downtown. School number three, also in big city, downtown. Location wise, this was the preference that the recruit had expressed. They wanted to be near a big city or in it. So all three hit that mark, maybe with school number one being slightly more removed. So, you can get some of that quiet campus life. You can also go into the city and get access to everything it has to offer. So let's bump down here. Financial aid. Cost is a huge, huge, huge consideration for most families going through this process. So let's show you what they did here. So D3 private school, $51,000 offered in financial aid. The final amount they were going to pay was 18K. That was not including work study, and any kind of outside scholarships. So still a chance that goes down some from there, but a great GPA helped them get 51K off of that sticker price. School number two, and here we go. This is what we talked about earlier, alluded to it. They had a full ride. So the tuition was covered through a grant program, and this kind of broke late for them. Um, the announcement came through middle of the recruiting process, so they weren't necessarily, thinking about this school, but they got in, got a full ride grant, and so it automatically, as it should, became a possibility that they started to consider. School number three, big gap in terms of what the school was able to offer and what the recruit's family could pay. So this was a tough situation. Great match in terms of school interests, recruit interests, but financially, it's a public school. They weren't able to meet in the middle, especially with the student being out of state. I think at a private school, they would have had a little more leeway to add more to that aid package, and maybe you would have seen something similar to school one. But at school three, it was not able to happen, and so they had to walk that back, and only could go with what the school initially offered. So, in terms of team fit, let's get to the last category here before we show you what they decided to do with all of this information. So, finally, team fit, good fit for basketball. The recruit could contribute meaningfully with the roster turnover that was expected. So, seniors leaving. Again, as we talked about earlier at school two, there was no contact yet with the coach. They were going to have to reach out. And then also, as we mentioned earlier, the recruit really loved school number three, wanted to play for the coach, but it didn't work out with financials. So maybe a little bit of a giveaway here, but school three was really eliminated because of cost. Even though it was the top choice for athletics, ultimately was not an affordable option. So it really came down to schools number one and number two here. This is a big difference, right? You eliminate the middle option, the 12K students, all of a sudden you're dealing with two very different opportunities. Ultimately, the recruit reflected on what they had been presented, which was a chance to continue their athletic career at a small school with great financial aid and support there from the coach. Awesome GPA from high school, so really a chance to get more aid down the road. It checked the box on location, and again, great fit for the basketball team. They ended up going with school one, but with both of these situations, they definitely could have had a great college experience at school two, potentially becoming the manager on the team to start, working their way up to being a practice player. We've seen it happen before, so it's not something that was an easy decision, but ultimately, we think they made the right call to continue their athletic career, go get a great education at a small school, and think they made it as affordable as possible. So yeah, happy to work with them, happy about their outcome. And if you have any questions about this or kind of how they broke down these different categories, feel free to drop a comment below and we can answer that. And if you want help recruiting, feel free to reach out as well. We have all the information on our website at d3-direct.com. We can help you through the process just like we helped this student athlete find a great fit to play at the next level. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.